Okay. Yes. First of all, I really want to thank you all for joining, and also some of the participants. They actually give me feedbacks about how is their progress in the practice. I was very appreciative for that effort that you have made, and you have taken the practice very seriously and doing the homework. So for today, right? I thought I will plan the session in this way. First, we will go through a bit of teaching. As in today, I will talk about loving kindness and self-care. Then after that, right, I was thinking of going through the some of the questions or some of the practice issues that some of the practitioners have raised. And after that, perhaps we'll go through question and answer. Would that be okay? Yeah. Okay, so shall we start? Wait, I'm seeing the whole screen with all the... Yes, okay. So as I mentioned earlier on, today we will be sharing about loving kindness and self-care. And why loving kindness and self-care for urban practitioner? The first 2 weeks we are talking about, anicca, dukkha, anatta, about this self, the self-grasping and all that, our conditioning that make us unhappy and make us who we are. But it's like, we don't blame ourselves for who we are, and because we are being conditioned that way. So what we can do is, how can we do to practice self-care so that, we can be very, very kind to ourselves and improve ourselves to be a better person. And in the former Buddhist teaching, there are two very important practices that I hope all of you could practice, especially as an urban practitioner, where maybe, we are not able to do a very formal sitting on a daily basis. But these are the two very important practice that will help you grow in the Dharma. Next slide. One is loving one is this Brahma Vihara, which is a four immeasurable, and the other one is mindfulness practice. If you all have practiced, if you had take these two very seriously as your main practice, mindfulness and this loving kindness this four Brahma Vihara, you will definitely grow. You will definitely grow in the Dhamma for sure, I guarantee. And it will really give you a very, very good foundation. So for those people who are not familiar with the Buddhist yet, the newcomers, what is four Brahma Vihara? The four immeasurables is actually the four sublime state of mind that Buddha prescribed for us to practice. And that includes loving kindness, compassion, empathetic joy, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. And they have to be practiced. To me, I thought it's good to practice all concurrently and not just I'll just focus on loving kindness and not equanimity. Why is that so? Sometimes when we practice loving kindness and compassion too much, over, because our mind is not very pure yet, we still have a lot of self-cherishing and self-clinging. So we practice loving kindness and compassion sometimes it's not fully pure yet, and we forgot about equanimity. It will end out that we will end up in the state where we feel we give too much. We give too much and we feel very fatigued about that. Or we may end up we do too much compassion. We might end up we felt that the whole world is so pitiful, and there's this sense of hopelessness, the sense of everything is so negative, that might appear for people who practice loving kindness and compassion not correctly. So it is very important that you all check, are you all practicing correctly this four Brahma Vihara or not? And why equanimity is so important? If you have checked the seven, if you have checked like the higher jhana or even seven factor of enlightenment, equanimity is always one of the elements that Buddha always preached. The Ping Se Sing, the mindset is detached, because what causes our suffering is actually our attachment. And what we need to cultivate is about this equanimity, to learn to detach ourselves from our emotions, from our thoughts, and from objects that we see outside. In a simple way, yeah, equanimity is a lot higher. It's very, very profound. But in a simple way, this will be, the few characteristics that you might want to keep in mind. And for today, I will focus more on the loving kindness, and compassion will be like, loving kindness is like the wish that I wish everyone be well and happy. So it's like a sense that I just want people to be well. I just want them to be happy. Not so much on helping them, but just wish that, they are well and happy. So it's like, you see the kids praying and you like them so much, and sometimes in your heart, naturally, the loving kindness will just arise because you just want them to be well and happy. This is loving kindness. Compassion will be, may all beings be free from sufferings. So it's like this state of mind that you see people in the state of sufferings, that you really want to do something about it. So this is compassion, the difference between loving kindness and compassion. And sympathetic joy is more like 随喜, in the Buddhist context, everybody would like to say sadhu, 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 which is rejoice. And in the Mahayana, or in the Chinese Buddhism, they will say 随喜, always say 随喜. Why is that so important? It's actually the antidote to overcome our jealousy. I think for most of us, we have jealousy in our heart. No? If people do a little bit better than us, it's like outside we smile, but inside our heart's like a bit bitter. That is actually jealousy. So in order to help us to overcome this bad habits, remember last session, I keep talking about habits. In order to overcome these bad habits, I really like some of my practitioners' friends. They always see, whenever they see people do good, right, they will outrightly say it out. They call me sister. 哇，我随喜你的功德，我随喜你做这个好事。So it's like, even you have a bit of jealousy inside, but if you continue practice this way, from fake to fake, then to real, gradually it becomes a new habit. New habit need to form. So this is one way that we can slowly overcome our jealousy mind through this sympathetic joy, which is rejoice, 随喜. Just remember, jealousy arise. Wow, 我随喜你啊. Initially, no feeling yet, but slowly, gradually, you will have genuine rejoicing heart will arise. And equanimity is a lot more profound. Equanimity, the usual in the former Buddhist context will be, all beings are the owner of the karma. So sometimes when we help people, when we see them like severe sufferings, it's very hard for us to hold, to witness that kind of suffering. That is because we do not cultivate sufficient equanimity to understand that things happen that way is because of their karma. And because we don't have the Buddha's eye, which can see our past life, billions of past life, and our future life, we don't have that ability. So what we see is very two-dimensional. What we see them, how they experience, their karma, the effect of karma in this lifetime. But we forgot that what happened to us, even to us and to others, even the group karma, like, recent the Malaysia flood and all that, is actually a submissions of karma, a group karma happening. So we might think that this and that, but actually it's a good karma ripening. It happened that way. And if we do not have the equanimity, we might get very emotional disturbance. So emotional equanimity will help us to balance our mind so that we are not so turbulent. Our loving kindness, our compassion, our joy, everything will be balanced. In a simple way, it's called Sing. Just remember Sing. Take it easy. Take it easy. Yeah. Okay, next slide. So as I say, today I'll be just focusing on loving kindness. And what are the benefits to practice loving kindness, you may ask? Traditional text, this is what you will read in the traditional text. You will sleep well, wake up well, have good dreams, people will like you, Dewa and animals will also like you, meaning that, you always, sometimes you pray, your aspirations will always come true. Dewa will protect you, which is true. If you have a lot of loving kindness, and my teacher was sharing with us, if we know how to practice loving kindness and we send metta to the Dewas as part of our meditation practice, and if we were to do it consistently, this telepathic thing, people can actually receive our good vibes and bad vibes. So we actually, if we will keep on sending metta to the Dewas, they see us like, oh, this poor thing, the metta so little and yet they still willing to share with me. So in that context, right, they will actually like 照顾关照我们, they will protect us. So I feel that way to me also. Sometimes I, in some distress state, and I pray for help, and I feel that, it seems to have some blessings, and I feel things become slightly smoother. And yeah, it happens. So a lot of people go to those pray Buddhists, those who have strong faith Buddhists, they always like to go to temple to pray, and even the Taoists, and they are very sincere in praying, and sometimes their wish come true. Why? Because maybe they have this loving kindness, so that they will actually protect them and give the blessings to them. So external dangers such as poison weapons will not harm you. I like to quote a story in the Buddha's Sutta. There's this lady, she is married with a rich man, but she has faith with the Dharma, but her husband do not have faith with the Dharma. So she really want to do some merits, you want to offer to the Buddha and the Buddha Sasana, but the Buddha, her husband do not allow that to happen. So in order to fulfill her dream, you know what she do? She got big heart, as she go and hire a very pretty prostitute to take over her role as a wife for 1 week. So she proposed to her husband, for that 1 week, this beautiful lady will take care of you to satisfy all your needs, and I will take my excuse and just leave me alone. I will just want to do my dana. So the husband become very happy, and of course fulfill her wish. So for that 1 week, every day she wake up very early and cook, get herself very busy in the kitchen, and serve the Sangha member. Then the husband on top of the room see the wife, think that the wife is xiao or what, got life, don't want to enjoy, and go and make herself so busy and dirty, and go and do the offering, because he cannot understand. He can't understand. So come to the end of the 7 days, the prostitute thinks that she becomes the female owners of the house, and she has a bit of reluctance and to want to leave the place. The contract ends, she need to leave. She is a little bit reluctant, and she has this even thinking that she actually want to take over the female's master role. So she went to the kitchen. Then the female owner saw her came, and she was very happy because she think that, oh, this lady that I hired, she's coming to do dana together. But actually she just want to harm her by wanting to pouring the hot oil onto that female boss. But at that moment, the female boss just sent out a lot of metta. And because of the power of the metta, the oil, it becomes like water. It doesn't hurt that owner at all. So this is the story in the sutta text. I don't encourage you to try, but but it's like, this is what the very power, if you have this very, very high state of metta, actually you can protect yourself with a lot of harms. So your face will be radiant and serene. I'm sure you will see in many good practitioners, we like to be close to them. Whenever we see their face, we feel very, very peaceful. We feel very happy. Why? Because they have so much metta, and they keep on radiating out their metta to the surrounding. And we didn't know it's metta. We thought that it's this person, and we just want to be close to them. And yeah, this is the power of the metta. Okay, this is the benefits of metta. And this is from the traditional Buddhist context. And I like to quote a little bit on the modern context. By practicing metta, how it can help us. One, it can increase our happiness. Because our heart is lighter and our heart is full of love. So we are happy, genuinely happy. And it lowers our stress, because sometimes our stress is really self-perceived or psychological behavior. So by practicing metta, it actually can reduce our stress in many, many ways. Later on in self-care, I will try to share a little bit more. And increase our behavior that will enhance our social connectedness. As I mentioned earlier on, if a master have a lot of loving kindness, those are great practitioners, naturally people will just want to be with them. So this is the power of the metta. And if you practice metta and you have metta from your heart, people will generally would just want to be close to you. And it would decrease our negative emotions and would increase our positive emotions. We all have emotions because we are still very diluted. So emotions is natural. So practicing metta is one way to reduce our negative emotions. And it also quiets our inner conflicts. Sometimes we have a lot of inner voice keep talking about, keep telling us bad stuff. By practicing metta, this kind of inner voice will also reduce. And in terms of health, it actually enhances our immunity, because we only can have one thought moment every moment. So if that moment you have positive thoughts on metta, meaning there is no negativity, there is no fear, there is no anxiety, the body is naturally more relaxed. So with that, our immunity system will naturally improve. So these are the benefits of the practicing loving kindness. And the next slide. And you have been chanting loving kindness discourse. Have you actually explored deeper into the meaning of loving kindness? This is the Metta Sutta that you all just chanted earlier on. This is the English versions. But how many of you have actually give a more deeper thoughts on this loving kindness discourse? Maybe to start with, I would like to share how this loving kindness discourse was taught by the Buddha. Buddha normally don't teach for no reason. Normally there is a conditions, so he will share, and that sharing become a discourse and is recorded eventually it recorded in the sutta. So how loving kindness started was, there was this group of monks, they want to practice meditation. So they get the instructions from Buddha, what to practice. So they left the monastery and go to the forest, a forest that Buddha asked them to go. So when they reached the forest, they cleared the ground, and few of them was happily thinking that, okay, they'll spend their rest of their a period of time that they make resolution, determinations to say that, we will practice here. However, there was a big tree at the area, and there was a tree Dewa stay with a retinue, with her whole family staying on top of the tree. So because of the monk, their robes, those Dewa want to pay respect to them and show their respect, right? They need to come down from their departing place, which is the treetop, to let the place for the monks to practice. But the whole family, they think that, oh, maybe they're just here for a short time and after a while they will leave. However, after one day, still there. After 1 week, still there. After 2 weeks, they are still there. They start to get impatient and get a little bit agitated. And because of that, they start to create problems for the monks. Like, they cannot meditate. Their mind is always unstable. Basically, they just create a lot of issues for those monks. So the monks cannot meditate, so they don't know what to do. They went back to Buddha and shared the whole incidents to the Buddha. Buddha tell them, go back to the same place. They say, no, we want to go other place. Buddha say, no, go back to the same place and you practice loving kindness. Spread your loving kindness to your surrounding. So because this is Buddha instructions, the monks take the Buddha instructions and go back to the same place. And they do this loving kindness meditations. And those three earthbound Dewa, they got happy. They become happy, and eventually they supported their practice. And at the end of the retreat, most of the monks have attained a certain level of sainthood. Yeah, this is how loving kindness was started. This shows that, loving kindness can actually helps to really pacify our surrounding and give us all our peace and happiness. This is how it started. And in this loving kindness discourse, right, generally we can subdivide it into two parts. Part one is the standard moral conduct that that Buddha would suggest us to practice if we want peace and purity. And the part two of the sutta, of this discourse, is about teaching us how to practice. So there's this part one and part two. Next slide. So what is this part one of the loving discourse? There are these few keywords that I've highlighted. Please spend some time to really understand this cluster of words and try to make it part of you, because this is what Buddha really wanted us to do for loving kindness. It's not so much like, sometimes we always do, may you be free from danger, may you be free from physical suffering, free from mental suffering, may you be one happy, but mind no feelings. Because I think for city people, most of us, we become like an ice block. Our heart like an ice block. So our job is to practice to make this ice block, to give some heat. Ice block because it's so cold, right? Loving kindness is like giving warmth, giving heat, giving love. And hopefully the ice block will melt. And once it melts, all this quality will be you. You are actually water, but just that at this point in time, because of our conditioning, we become ice block. And the whole practice that we're going through these 4 weeks is to help us to turn our ice block into water. And water is always soft, is penetrate everywhere, no resistance. These are the qualities of water. And don't underestimate this quality, okay? Tsunami strong or not? Water can do big things. Don't think water lembut is not true, okay? So yeah, being soft have a lot of power that you all have not detect, have not realized yet. And also, the third point of loving kindness that we always chant is like, I make it very simple. Is about, we don't do wrong, which wise men may rebuke us. Recently, there is this artist, Taiwan artist, Wang Lihong. I think I read something about him. So many, big media coverage. His conduct, he got meta or not? Yeah, he only think about his own happiness and not about his wife and his children. So even though, just as an artist, he's being criticized. For me, for every one of us, of course, we have to listen to two sides of the story. But what I'm trying to say is that if we do a lot of wrong, people would know, and you'll be the items to be point. Yeah, and you lost the trust that people had on you, and yeah, basically you lost everything overnight. For him, it's like overnight. Yeah. So Buddha is so wise. 2,500 years ago, he already teach us, don't do wrong. Don't do wrong. Yeah. Next slide. So continue on. We need to be equal. We share our loving kindness to near and far, small and large. Every type of beings. That will be the ultimate metta. But in our mundane context, sometimes when we practice metta, it's good that we practice metta with wisdom. Let's say these two photographs. Does it show anything that what does that relate? What do you think it reflects to you? Sometimes we help, but don't understand the need of others. This is like the first on the picture on the left. So when we do loving kindness, when we do actions, loving kindness and compassion to help others, we really have to understand, apply our wisdom to understand the needs of each and individual, so that our needs are tailored. And it's not like, sometimes we receive dana from people. It's like, okay, I know, the four requisites. So it's like, they always have this towel, toothbrush, toothpaste, robes and something. But it's like, one towel we can use for a few years, and one robe, sometimes our robes you can wear for 1-2 years and stuff like that. And we only need one toothpaste, maybe a bigger one, maybe like 1 month or so. We don't need so much of these things, and they keep on offering. Then it become like, what will you do with that? Then we have to think of, who to give and all that. You know what I mean? This is from a Sangha context. So when we are helping the poor and the needy, we keep sending stuff to them. Like, we always think that, those living in those one-room flat are deprived. We need to help them. So we do a lot of goodies. We send a lot of goodies to them. I did one last year, and I had the chance to talk to some of the residents. So I asked them, I just want to get some feedbacks, what do they receive generally, and how often the people come. Sometimes in 1 week, they got like 3 or 4 groups going to them. And items like biscuits, instant noodle, some of the very common items that they give. But they are old people, they have diabetes, they have high blood pressure. These are the items that's not suitable for them. So please, next time when we do loving kindness and compassion in actions, remember we do it with wisdoms. Yeah, we know their needs and we cater to their needs. That would be better. Sorry, if I say too direct and hurt some of y'all. Okay, yes, okay, now next slides. And in these slides, Buddha go on like, you have to protect everyone and radiate to everywhere. In the formal meditation practice, they are, I cannot remember, was it 529 or don't know, objects of meditations that we have to radiate metta. And it's like, you need to, so your mind must be clear and you need to visualize the person that you want to send metta in front of you. Then you spread your metta and you're supposed to absorb into jhanas, up to third jhanas. Then, come out the jhanas, then another person's absorb into jhanas again, then send metta and absorb into jhana, then out. This is how the formal meditations, metta meditation, the really, really formal metta meditation practice. But for our daily practice, just remember, have a good heart, do good. Just have this good wish to people. And by practicing metta, what are the benefits, again, in the higher Dharma perspective? The last one, not falling into wrong views, being virtuous, endowed with insight, discard the, senses, and never again will he return to conceive in a womb. This is a very powerful statement, It's not so simple. In the Theravada practice, I'm sure you heard about these 4 stages of sainthood. The first one is the stream enter, which is you will guarantee you will not reborn in the 3 lower realms. And you will guarantee you become an arahant within 7 lifetimes. That is a stream enterer. Once returner, which is your practice is, your defilement is a lot lesser than the stream enter, and like you only need to rebirth as a human being for 1 more lifetime. And with that practice, you can become an arahant and no more rebirth. And for the third sainthood, non-returner, is where after this lifetime, you will be reborn in a pure abode. And from there, you continue your practice and you gain arahantship. And arahant is a saint where they have no more defilements. They no longer need to take any more rebirth. So if a person were to practice metta correctly and achieve the higher state of metta, their mind is just pure love, just full of love. A person can actually go to the third state of sainthood, which is the non-returner. That's why it stay here. He will not, there's no need for him to return to conceive in the womb again, because they no need to take any more rebirths as a human being. The 9 months in the mother wombs and the educations and the blah, 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 blah. No need, no more. Yeah. So metta can help us to go that far in terms of practice. Powerful? Bandai, yeah? Very, very bandai. Yes. And maybe here I'd like to break a while from these very formal teachings and would like to ask you, do you know the difference between attachment and genuine love? Ding, ding. Type in the chat so I can drink water. Attachment and genuine love. So are you practicing attachment or practicing loving kindness? Okay, what else? Expectation. Today respond like not so. Yes, does not ask for anything in return. Very, very good. Love is not obsessive, not possessive. Attachment is very good. Yes, very good, but hard to do. Accept persons as they are, not based on ego, no condition. Yeah, very, very good, good, good. You have get it correctly. Attachment appear to be clinging. That is absolutely true. So it's like, we always say that I love you, I love you. Is it we attach to the persons or we actually genuinely love the person? How do we know the difference? Attachment is like, I love you and I want you to make me happy. So it's like with expectation, correct. I love you because I want you to make me happy, So remember last week or the week before last, I shared with you, sometimes we go out, it's like we wanted their company, not that we really want to invite the person. That's not so pure, genuine love. Yeah. And genuine love would be, I love you and I just want you to be happy. So even if like I'm not with you together with you, it is okay. I just want you to be happy. You can just let the person be free. Does the notion of love or unconditional exist in Buddhism? Yes, unconditional love is the loving kindness that we are actually talking about, the genuine love, a love that without attachment, the love that without any conditions. We just give love. It's become like our default mode. Yes. So hope this short discussion about loving kindness discourse will give you a little bit more understanding so that when you chant, it gives you more context and like remind yourself what I need to practice. Practice love with wisdom, practice it, with the few, the what is that called? The moral conduct that Buddha wanted us to practice. Okay, so we move on to the next slides, and that is our beautiful iceberg that I keep on referring again and again in all my talks, because maybe some of you are new. No, if you do not have love, it's very difficult to give love to others. This is something that I will talk about in this second portions of this talk. So we always think that we know ourselves, which is the tip of the iceberg. And this is how we present to the world. But what is inside us? Actually, a lot more. And most of the time, if we do not have the mindfulness, if we don't practice meditations, we actually don't understand ourselves. We thought that we know who we are, but actually we don't. So the whole Buddhist path, the whole practice is about going deeper. This is called insight meditations, to go deeper, to understand who we are, and so that we can eradicate our defilements, our bad habits, and we can present ourselves pure to the world. If you want to be a stream entry in this lifetime, according to my teacher's teaching, is that we need to at least eradicate quite a percentage of our defilements and habits. Not so easy, but we just need to try our best, starting from this lifetime, so that life after life, our defilement is getting lesser. Okay, so next slide. We already covered thoughts and we covered body sensations, and few of you have given me a lot of feedbacks about these two practices, which we're going to discuss later if we have time. And today we will focus more on the emotions. In the Buddhist context, we don't talk so much about emotions. Like the 5 aggregates, we only talk about the feelings. And Buddha have actually classified it very simply: present feeling, unpleasant feeling, and neutral feelings. However, we as a very devout sentient being, I'm sorry to say, me included, or it is natural that we have emotions. It's just an expression of our inner world. It is okay to have them. It's okay. It's really okay. It's about knowing them and how we can coexist with them. The practice is about, learn to be coexist, so that when we reach to the higher state of practice, our emotions become lesser and lesser. Okay, but for the beginning part, we need to learn to coexist so that we need to know our emotions and say hi to them. Next slide. And this is a list of some emotions that perhaps most of us will experience in their course of their living in a daily life. There are a lot more. The list can go on and on and on. So I just pick out this one just to illustrate how much emotions one person can have. Fun or not? So much. It's like Singapore, you can eat all kinds of food. When you go to Hong never get deprived with the selection of food that we can enjoy. So in our inner world, we are actually enjoying the whole list of emotions. One whole big list, but sometimes we don't know. Sometimes we don't know. And it's good that we start to say hi to them and get to know them and make friends with them. Next slide. And I always like to ask you, where are you most of the time? As in, like, your habitual patterns, your habits. Do you normally in the upward spiral or downward spiral? The kind of emotions that always present in you. You don't have to tell me. You just need to I give you like 2 minutes to settle down and be very honest to yourself. Who am I most of the time? And if we are on the downward spiral, we are actually not practicing loving kindness. You may be sitting in the meditation cushions for hours, practicing loving kindness, but okay, you're accumulating meditation parami, but the heart doesn't change. The inner side, the inner landscape doesn't change. And if that doesn't change, I'm sorry to say, your practice will be very, very slow. The practice will be very, very slow. Progress of the practice will be very slow. So what we need to do is really to understand what is inside us most of the time. And like I quote some example. Sometimes Buddhists, we like to do dana, right? We do dana, and sometimes it's like group dana. Then during the dana, some unhappy incidents happen. Then what happened? Our minds become immediately unhappy. Then a bit diluted already, lor. Or sometimes we do charity work, but deep inside us, we still got this sense of jealousy in it, or a sense of like stinginess in us. Again, we are not really practicing Buddhism in the correct way. Yeah, outwardly we are good practitioner, we donate, but deep inside us, our landscape haven't changed, our habit haven't changed, and that will slow down our practice. So again, yeah, I just like to share with you, get to know yourself better in terms of your emotional well-being, and see where you are and how can we improve from here. But at least you know where you are, and that is already a milestone. And give yourself a pat for being honest and have the awareness that know where you are now. Yeah, or most of the time. And next slide. Remember last week I shared about I'm okay, you're okay, I'm okay, you're not okay, I'm not okay, you're okay, and I'm not okay, you're not okay. today we're going to talk a little bit more about that, what that means. How this happens, okay? How this happens, again, is not your fault. It's not your fault. This happened is again due to our conditioning. During our younger days, how our main caregiver take care of us. So for I am okay, you are okay, which is the best, we call it the secure type of personality, is that during your childhood, your growing up years, you have a very good caregiver. The main caregivers have given you a very safe environment, physically and emotionally, and the person had given you the necessary support. And because of that condition, because of that very positive conditions, you will grow up as an adult. Your emotional states will most likely be, I am okay, you are okay. Make sense? And the next one I would like to talk about will be, I am not okay, you are okay. I think a lot of Asians are in this category, huh? I always feel that we are not good enough yet. Like feel guilty about ourselves. Guilt, by the way, is a unwholesome state of mind. Don't stay too long in it. Yeah. And what happens if we are always in this category? I am not okay, you are okay. Our personality will be people that are a little bit more kanchiong, and people that are actually a little bit more clean and preoccupied. And it will be like people who like to seek approval, they like to seek support, and they need the responsiveness from others. They always need to be fit because like, I'm not good enough, so they always need some outside persons or event or achievement to validate who they are. Because inside them is always have this anxiety in them. I'm not good enough. I need to do something so that I can be good. Yeah, they have this kind of personality. And they treat relationship actually very seriously. But at the same time, they were worried like the partner will not want them. So it's like they always feel a bit of sense of insecure. In their relationship with others, it's like, 我这样子做哦, I do like this, I don't know whether people like me or not. They always worry that people don't like them. And people in this category, right, they also become very clinging. They cling to people, they cling to their work, they cling to things that give them the identity. And they become very demanding. They are preoccupied with a relationship and desperate for love. So this category, this is the kind of personality a person will show. And about I am okay, you are not okay. For I am okay, you are not okay. It's like people in this category, what do you think? 我很厉害的咯, I'm very independent 的咯, I am self-sufficient 的咯, everything I also can, why you don't, I no need people to help me one, everything I 包咖了 one. Yeah, and it's like very high self-esteem and always think that, wow, I'm good, I'm very good. And in the Buddhist context, what is this? Pride. I'm always better than other persons. So for people in this category, right, instead of would be people that always judge others. Because I'm always good, what? You're always lousier than me. Then their relationship with others, right, is like, hang on, okay, this kind of people, right, they don't like to get close to other people. They avoid emotional closeness. They are friends with you, but emotionally they are not close with you. They are there, but they are not there. And they tend to suppress their feelings. They don't like to express themselves that much because I'm good one, I'm very independent ma. So everything covered now. I cannot show other people I'm vulnerable. And when we face with they just like to hide their emotions. This is this kind of personality. Strong pride. I'm so good. I'm unbeatable and always suppressed. So if that identity is scrambled, let's say some life situations that make this identity scramble, they will get very, very lost. They'll get very, very lost. And the last type is I am not okay, you are not okay. This type of personality, emotionally, honestly, are not very stable. Not very stable. And they, most of the time, they look for partners that are also friends that are also unstable. Somehow, they just feed on each other. And it's sort of like a bit, they want to be close with people, but at the same time, they don't trust people because they need love. Because I'm not okay, ma, I need love. But at the same time, you are also not okay. I also worry about you, you know. Can trust or not? Not sure. 很可怜的咯，很可怜的咯。And they do not regulate their emotion well and avoid strong emotional attachment. And because they due to the fear they get hurt. So it's like they don't want to get hurt anymore because inside them they are already so not okay. They have no more capacity to get more negativity inside them. So that at all means they will avoid getting hurt. But then this kind of relationship with others, right? I'm not sure if you see people like them, you think about it, you know, give you a minute to think about it. Yourself or people around you, now that you have this understanding, people around you, what kind of personality they have. And people that are very, very close to your partner, where are they? Where am I and where are they? Why this is important? Because I mentioned before, Buddhism, we talk about interdependence. Who we are, we affect our surrounding people. Let's say your family, your colleagues at work. If you are the I am okay, you are okay personality, you become the support and strength in your family and also in your workplace. Some very successful leaders, their EQ and IQ are super high. So they are the I am okay, you're okay type. That's why they can be so successful. But if we belongs to these three, like let's say I'm not okay, so that I always need to seek love, I need to seek love from others. Their relationship with others is always very clinging. I don't know. I have heard stories, many stories, like, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend relationship. After the while, the other partner just cannot take, just want to just ask for a breakout. Not because they don't love the person, but they cannot take the person's the attachment and the clinging. Like, 做到这么紧, cannot breathe, suffocating. So it is good to understand where we are and change our habits and personality so that we form a healthy self, and our healthy self can influence the people around us and also build good relationship around us. So this is how I combine the more modern teachings and the Buddhist philosophy together, because things are interdependent. And who we are being conditioned from our childhood And because of that, we don't know, because of ignorance, we behave in certain habits that we don't know, and we keep on repeating the same habits. And this is the cause of our dependent originations, our samsara, never able to get out of the samsara. So our job is to know, rewind, where is my ignorance? We work on that ignorance. And from there onwards, we know our iceberg, what's below our iceberg, and we work on that to change our landscape. Sorry, I didn't see the chat. What was the question? What was the question? Work. I'm not okay, you're not okay. NS. In between, I'm okay, you're not okay. For body relation, I'm not okay. What do you mean, idiots? I'm not okay, you are not okay. I cannot really understand what you are trying to express. Yeah, but anyway, we need to continue on. There's a lot I'd like to share, and we have not much time. And next slide, please. So if you are, I'm not okay, you are not okay, the not okay, not okay, not okay, the three categories, then naturally will form coping mechanism to interact with the world. And there are this negative coping mechanism and this positive coping mechanism. So these are some of the example of negative coping mechanism. It's good to know so that we don't fall into that again and again. Like blaming, I think blaming is one of the very common one in the modern context. Like they always need to find an scapegoat for something. It's like, even in the news, we always hear that, something happened, they always need to identify what is the cause of that issue and blame that person, sue that person or whatever. That's how the modern context work. And actually, these are actually negative coping mechanism. And certain people will endow in them in gaming, eating, or sometimes in toxic relationship again and again and again and again. All type of all kind of stuff. Instead of getting to know themselves, not yet. Instead of getting to know themselves, they are just going round and round in this negative coping mechanism, and they cannot get out of that. Unfortunately, they cannot get out of that cycle. Yeah. And next slides. Before I go to the positive coping mechanism, I thought to introduce, because you are Buddhist, you all like to help people, and there are certain aspects of how we get ourselves tired and negative because of our helping. I thought to bring this up before going to like how we can deal with that. One of the issue about Buddhists is like we always 慈悲, we also need to help. Cannot say no. Even though how tired we are, we serve. Then what happened? We don't know how to draw boundary. Then what happened? Compassion fatigue. Compassion fatigue is from the psychology sense, is more like, you are helping others in trauma or in stressful situation for a long period of time. Then slowly you become fatigued because you keep on giving. Your love, loving kindness keep on giving. But because we have this, we still got this strong sense. If you think that the slide is helpful for you, you can take screenshot, it's okay. Yeah. So it's like compassion fatigue is like, or people who become the caregiver. And I'm not too sure if I experienced a caregiver taking care of sick patients for years. After a while, you can really get very, very burnt out, very exhausted. And this is actually a sign of compassion fatigue. And what does it show? These are the list of some of the symptoms. So if you have been engaging in helping people, And if you think that you have some of these symptoms, you might just want to get to know, wait a minute, stop. Am I experiencing compassion fatigue? And if you are, please do something about it. Don't let it continue on. Because I see in monastery, I stay in monastery for many, many years. Some people come with full of passions, and at the end of the day, they keep on serving, but don't know that they are actually reaching the point of fatigue. And eventually they end up leaving the monastery with disappointment. Yeah, I hope this will not happen to you. Okay, so this is compassion fatigue. I think it's a new term to you, but it's good to know. And how to stop this from happen? Draw boundary, a healthy boundary. When you're tired, when you really cannot, your schedule cannot, you just have to tell people politely, I have reached my limits. It is okay to say no, not to all the way. We are not, we know where we are, and we just practice according to where we are. So one step at a time, we can increase our capacity. But if we exert too much, it's like bank. If you give all your money away, it's very hard for you to replenish. But you give a little bit, let's say you got $1 million in your bank account, you just draw interest and keep giving out the interest as donation. Your compassion work will never dry up. But if you got like $1,000, then you like 1 month you give 1,100, you cannot recover. Very, very difficult to recover. So these are the few contexts that I thought, just to give you an idea. Next slide. Burnout. This is common for city people. Burnout and compassion fatigue is slightly different. Burnout is more like, you work, you keep on physical, mainly it's physical work, work and work and work and work. And you just get so exhausted over your limits, and you will get burnout. And these are some of the signs. And we don't do anything about it. I'm sure you have read from newspaper that in Japan, it's more common in Japan. People die of burnout. People actually die of burnout because the heart cannot take it anymore. They just cannot take it anymore. Yeah, so these are some of the signs of burnout. And in terms of burnout, right, apart from being exhausted, irritable, and the heart also become very hard. Remember just now I used the eyes to describe who we are. If we keep on giving compassions without self-care, and we keep on working and working without self-care, we might end up like a piece of ice. No more emotions, frozen. No emotion, become frozen. And our sense of achievement, the sense of like accomplishments, we reduce, and we don't know, like we always have this self-doubt in us. Yeah. Are you okay? Okay, yeah. Okay, next slide. Coming to the end soon. Next slide. So how can we help ourselves if we experience any of the above that I mentioned earlier on? This is a beautiful chart of all the possible positive coping behavior patterns that we can engage in our daily life to help us from avoiding being burnout or excessive fatigue, or healthy diet. I'm sure I'm not too sure, because I was doing a survey for female like me. When I under stress, I like to eat sweets, chocolates, anything that's sweets and high in calories, cakes and all that, all the super sweet stuff. That's for me. I checked with 2 of my male friends. I asked them, when you are stressed, what will you do? They say they can have no more appetite. No more appetite. And sometimes they just drink alcohol. So everybody, again, it shows that everybody have different coping mechanism. But once we know that we are eating that way, it could be a sign of burnout, or a sign that we are not balanced, no equanimity. Then it's a sign that we have to force ourselves, try our best to get to that healthy diet. Vocation, schedule break will be like, in your office, occasionally take 2 minutes off. Nobody know, do your abdominal breathing. That's also positive coping mechanism. No one see. You are just as if you're working, but you're actually taking a break from the intensity and just relax and do a little bit of abdominal breathing to get yourself grounded again. Vocation is very important. We can't go overseas now, but at least you can explore Singapore, like the Southern Islands, some of the nature parks and all that. Yeah, make yourself happy. Relax interest will be have an interest and hobby that is not related to your work. No more, it's not about self-improvement thing. It's a genuine hobby that you like drawing, like gardening, like cycling, something that is really nothing to relate to your life, something that you enjoy. It helps. It really, really helps. And don't because that you get busy and you stop that. Cannot. Do it. Find time to do it because this is your self-care. All these things that we listed here is a self-care that you can do in your daily life, and things that please do not neglect. Sleeping is also very important. If you cannot sleep, you know that you cannot sleep for a few days, it's good that do some changes in your schedule, as in like maybe you can stop your watching your handphone or your computer, let's say 9 p.m. And at least that you have time for 1 to 2 hours to rest your mind, to unwind before you sleep. You can drink some tea, do some massage, whatever you do, just to relax, to make yourself relax. And know your boundary, as I said just now, learn to say no. Spiritual religion, metta meditations, go to a temple. Most of the temple, because I always practice good in the temple, most of the temple have this very positive vibes. Like, I think a lot of you have this experience. If you go to a temple, it just feels so recharged after you leave the temple. Because there's a lot of positive vibes in the temple, from the chanting, from all the Dharma talks and all that. If you sit down and watching people walking, it depends on what's going on in your mind while you're working, while you're watching. If you're judging, then it's not relaxing. It's not positive coping behavior. But if you just enjoy understanding people, have a cup of coffee and just watching, that's fine. Yeah, that's one way of positive coping mechanism. And talking to people, again, as I say, is very important, because we have a lot of things in our head. When there's a lot of things in our head, we cannot come up with good solutions. So please, if you don't want to talk to therapy, talk to somebody that you trust. Get peer support, your friends that you trust again. Yeah, go to nature, because nature, just like in the temple, they give out, for nature is different, they get a lot of oxygen. The plants get out oxygen. When you're tense, our brain is like lack of oxygen. So you go to nature, detox your carbon dioxide and increase your oxygen. That's where you get you recharge. Your brain will get clearer. So these are some positive coping behavior that I suggested, that I learned in school. I'm sure you have your own. So just find whatever you feel comfortable. Just make sure that whatever you do, the coping behavior is a positive one. It's a positive one. And yeah, later on question and answer, we can discuss more about this. And if you have any other things you want to share, then we can share on that context. And next slides. Among many emotions, I thought today I will just touch on grief. because recently I just lost my grandmom just 2 weeks ago. And, we heard about grief, this grieving period, but we don't know how grief looks like. And sometimes we are just overconsumed by our grief that we become sucked into it and we cannot function normally. So in school, we learn that there are 5 stages of grief, like denial, then you get angry, then you bargain, depression, eventually come to acceptance. That's what they teach. But does it happen that way in real life? Yes and no. It might not happen in this sequence. It might come like rojak, or again, because of conditioning, everybody grief will come differently. And also depends on how close, how attached you with that person that passed away. Let's say I take myself as an example. When my ama passed away, just before she passed away, I was in quarantine, so I cannot go to hospital. Because that time my dad have COVID, so I try to avoid going to hospital. So when the doctors tell my relative and they share on the group chat that doctor said my ama had only a few hours left, anxiety come. And there's just a lot of emotion, suddenly just outburst. And the moment when I heard that she passed away and I rushed down to the funeral site, during the journey from my house to my ama's place, memories of childhood suddenly just overflow. It just overflow, cannot control. And because I know that it is part of grief, I let it be. And I know that this is grief, so that I don't get sucked into it. I just let it flow, but not sucking into it. So why I use grief is also because, as I said, because recently I have grief. And I think many of you have experienced grief in your daily life. Not necessarily the loss of a loved one, but let's say happens to me when I cannot raise my hand suddenly one day. Grief. Let's say you are being retrenched from your job. You suffer loss and grief, honestly. We get angry, we want to bargain, and this circle, we get denial. Why I'm so good, why I get retrenched? I work for this company for 20 years, this is so unfair. It's a sign of loss and grief. Yeah, so loss and grief is not unnecessary, happens when people pass away. It actually happens in our daily life. When things that we like suddenly disappear. And to know that, we're going through this whole process, and just aware that I'm going through this process, so that you're not so confused why suddenly I behave in that way. Or you suck into depressions and don't know how to get out. It is a journey. Some people take short time. Some people take a longer period of time. It is okay. But but it is a journey that we experience as part of our human life experiences. So it's good to know them so that we can coexist and live with them, rather than suppressing them, don't know what to do, then have negative coping behavior patterns. Yeah. So this is what I have for slides today. We got another half an hour. What you want to do? Because the organizer tell me number 3 and number 4, we have more interactions.
Yes, let's have Q&A.
Is the talk okay? Beneficial? Because emotions are hardly mentioned in the Buddhist context, but we all experience, and we're just being so suffered by it without knowing it. without knowing what to do. Without knowing what to do. Yes.
Sayalay, maybe I start off with one question.
Sure.
Yeah, just now on the last slide, you mentioned that to let your emotion flow when you were on the way to the wake. So what's the difference between letting it flow or being sucked in?
Okay. Letting it flow will be, as I mentioned in the beginning of my talk, mindfulness is one of the best weapon any Buddhist practitioner must practice. So if you have mindfulness, you remember 2 weeks ago I asked you in the thoughts. So like let's say grief, your keying, put in the chat. If you're suffering from loss, what kind of thing will go through your mind? It's easier to come with an example to explain. What kind of mental chatting that you have in your mind? If you lost your pet, you lost somebody that you break out, it's also a grief and loss. What went through your mind? Yeah, how my life live without XXX. What else? Just sadness.
Past memories.
Time together. Yes, my past memory also flow just now, as I mentioned. What happened? What happened to me? Yes, why me? Why? Loss and grief. I got cancer, loss and grief. I lost my health. Whining, painful. Yes, this is, if you keep on in that state, you are into the emotions. But as I said, just as we are now looking at like a third party, we look at it as like a third party. So it becomes, I understand I have pain right now. I am with my pain. It is okay to have pain. But I don't need to get totally consumed into it. So it's like, that's where the mental strength comes in. And that's why these 4 sessions of practice, I keep on emphasizing you need to know yourself. That's why I started with knowing your thoughts. Now is aware your emotions, because you need to know where you are at this point in time. Like now you're listening to me, are you totally into your thinking? Then you are into your thinking and your emotions. And now you laugh, ha 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 ha. Then you look back. This is where you detach, become like a third party looking at your own emotions and your thinking. So when you have strong emotions in us, right? Sometimes we have been consumed into it. We don't know. It's for beginners practitioner, it might take a while before we know. So it's like suddenly very run. You have a lot of anxiety, but you don't know what's going on inside us. From now onwards, at least you know, oh, my emotions not stable, but I don't know what is it yet. Let's go and investigate. And this is where you start to detach yourself from the emotions. Yeah.
Meaning I don't stay in that state of grieving for very long. I have to detach myself from it.
It's like this. How I do, because maybe I've been practicing, so I have a little bit more mental strength. I give myself like one day, right? I give myself durations for me to grieve. Then I tell myself, after that the durations I give myself, let's say I give an example like 2 hours. You want to cry, you want to do anything, you do. After the 2 hours, get back to your normal life. You have to pull yourself up. You have to train yourself to pull yourself up. Yeah. Okay. How does we say no to a given task at workplace? More so when task was given, hang on, also when task was given by your boss superior. Yes, this is the issues in the workplace. Sometimes we really cannot say no. And I know that many companies are downsizing and one person are doing like 2-3 persons work. I'm not too sure if you have noticed in the workplace, some people have more jobs than others. Some people just like the boss, like as if the boss like the persons that have always receive lesser job than certain people. I'm not too sure if you experience that. Actually, it relates back to the I am okay, you are not okay, the 4 category. If you present to the world, I am not okay, you are okay, or I am not okay, you are not okay, that kind of personality, people can pick up your vibes. And you will be, chances are you've been being bullied. Very subtle, very, very subtle. That's why it's important to make yourself, to train your mind to be, I am okay, you're okay. To strengthen your mental health. And I guess in daily life, sometimes you really cannot say no to boss work, but sometimes, I don't know, is it appropriate or not? We can be assertive to tell the persons that, you know, I have actually reached a limit. Would it be okay? You know, it's about negotiations, bargaining, negotiations, so that at least you have a little bit of space and boundary. That is one way. And another way would be, to me, would be I would try to increase my mental strength so that I have a better capacity to accept more workload. Because sometimes the work itself, it doesn't cause us so much stress. It is our emotions, the unnecessary thinking and unnecessary emotions. Why am I so unfair? Kanchong, you know, our worries and all that, that add the additional stress that make our burden double. I hope it makes sense to you. Yeah. I'm related to emotions, but I don't know. Why do I cry for absolutely no reason when I'm meditating? Like not sad thoughts, and the tear just came. I do not really because you know, meditation's issues is better to discuss with the meditation teacher directly, because it could be many reasons, and only the meditation teachers, when they discuss with you, they know deeper into you and why this happened. One of the reasons I could think of would be maybe there's some emotions that is inside you have not been processed, and during meditations, the whole environment is so comfortable and you are relaxed, and this is the time where you allow yourself the space for your emotions to surface. And if that happens to be a more sadness emotions that you have kept in your heart for a long time, it might manifest as tears. So it could be a form of detoxing our emotions, discharging our negative suppressing emotions that we have suppressed all the while. This could be one of the reasons. It can be other reasons, like the 4 elements are not balanced and all this, but I think it's best that you discuss with your meditation teacher when you are in the retreats. Yes, stress comes when we overthink into why there's no fairness in the office. Yeah. Karma play a part, and as I say earlier on, how we manifest in the world, our subtle vibes will attract many things. Yes. Anything else that you all want to ask? You can just type on the chat. I really like last week, one of the sister, I think she mentioned about, you know, there are certain emotions. No, YouTube, no. Video will not be uploaded. You hear it here and that's it. Try to learn as much as you can. Yes. Yeah, if you have listened attentively, it's already inside your heart. Yes. Yeah. And if you want, you can contact me, you know, if you have issues, and we can discuss then and there. Yeah. But I'm not comfortable to put it on the YouTube and, you know, being spread around. Yeah. Not now, because I need to seek clearance from my teacher. If this is, yeah, yes. Any other questions? If not, then I go to, if yes, yes, yeah, you type Sayalay, but no question. They are, yeah. Okay, this question is, how do we get along better with prideful person, especially so if our family member, which is our parents? How if I'm a Teochew, luckily my parents are not the Haolian one. Yes. If they are parents, right? I share this with a friend. We just sayang them. That's the whole purpose of our talk today, loving kindness. We really sayang them. We understand again through this sharing that this is, oh, okay, if you all don't want to type in the group chat, you can direct message me on the group chat, so you all don't know who asked the question, but I will try to answer. So it's like, we know that they're being conditioned the way they are due to their lives. And at that age, it's very difficult for them to change. So we just try to practice the unconditional love with understanding and wisdom, in the sense that we don't love them blindly just because they are our parents anymore. But we transform it into a Buddhist compassionate love. We understand they are suffering because of their conditioning, and they are ignorant. Their behavior patterns is causing harm to people around them. They don't know. So with that, we have compassion for them. In that sense, our love have actually have become purer that way. Already sayang a lot. I think I need to talk to you one-to-one, because through text, sometimes I cannot understand the context in details, and the answer might not be very relatable. Yeah. Yes, I have two questions here. Like, my mental construct. Sayalay, is it my mental construct vibes that I seem to attract colleagues who like to voice out their troubles to me? Sometimes you portray to the world that it is okay to dump rubbish into you. It is okay to dump rubbish into you. Give out that vibes. So maybe if you too much compassion fatigue, if you become fatigued, then you might need to tell yourself that, sometimes I need to say no. You need to say no. Is it difficult to identify between unconditioned giving and being taken advantage? We know, right, if we are being taken advantage. And again, unconditional giving, as I shared earlier on, loving kindness comes with wisdom. Wisdom as in, is my act is going to help the person grow? Or is my act is going to help the person to increase their defilements? To improve their increase, to keep on feeding their negativity, like they can take advantage of you. So if they know that you can be taken advantage of and you keep on giving and giving, they know that you can take advantage of. And that will just promote them to increase their bad karma. So that's giving, that's loving kindness without wisdom. Yeah. How to contact you if you need share, discuss something with you? Is it possible? Okay, maybe I'll give my email, then you all can contact me directly if you want. Sometimes you cannot see the difference between if I am too selfish or I am being taken advantage. I don't quite understand, because if you are being taken advantage, it means you keep on giving and giving and giving. In that context, I don't see that you are being selfish, or rather, I would see the other person as being selfish. The person that want to take advantage of you as being very selfish. Jerry, my husband feels he get bullied at work. How can he make a change? I think that one you really have to work out his personality and all that. Would be good if you were to get to talk to like a trained counselor and to understand his whole context. And again, like I shared during these 3 sessions, our family of origin, how we are being brought up to have to make him that kind of personality. So he has to understand all this in order for him to change. And with that changes, maybe his life situation will change. Okay, now I understand. Okay, selfish because I decide to stop giving. No, you are not. As I say, loving kindness, compassion is not about being soft and nice. Loving kindness and compassion sometimes can manifest as ugly, in the sense that our main intentions is to help the person to see their own bad behavior. Let's say you keep on giving and the person and you suddenly you decided to stop because you know that this is not healthy. You are not being selfish. You are actually being very compassionate to try to teach Dharma to the other person, to let them know that their behavior is creating their own bad karmas. Yeah. Is it possible to reconcile the nature of national duty? Okay, I think in this context, right, I would take the training of the doctors as an example. In the context, the question was, is it possible to reconcile the nature of national duty, which involves killing and violence, with the practice? It's like this. I'll take an example of the doctors. During the training, a medical student, they might need to do some killings. It's part of the training. But you are not intentionally trying to kill the animals. That killing is for you to learn so that you can be better in treating more beings. So that little sacrifice, that sacrifice of that animal is to 成全, you know, 成全 the bigger picture. So in the context of national service, it's like I know you all have to, my brother was telling me what, they get the chicken and just pull their neck. That's how they kill the chicken during the NS. That's I was told. It's part of the training. And I think in that context, if you're just so different from other people, you will be penalized in some way. Yeah, you'll be penalized in some way. Sometimes you just need to follow the flow. Can we share topic on karma and forgiveness on the next sessions? Okay. I'll try. And okay, maybe allow me to, would you mind if I were to share some of the reflections that people have sent to me and their doubts and concern regarding their practice? Okay, one lady, or one of the practitioners among y'all have shared with me that she become more aware of herself, which is excellent. She start to see herself as a third person rather than being consumed with her thoughts and emotion. So it's like every morning when she wake up, she observe her well-being. And she realized that recently when she wake up early in the morning, there's a lot of negative thoughts to start the day. In the past, when people are in that state, it's like, I think I wake up on the wrong side of my pillow today. So it's like everything just mangzang. This is where there's no clarity of mind. So this person have a little bit of clarity of mind. She wake up, she sees that I have more negative thoughts, even though when I just wake up fresh from the bed. So in this context, sometimes it happens to all of us because we do not know what kind of karma ripen at that moment. So for that period, it could be bad karma ripening. So it's like even though physically you're relaxed, your mind is relaxed, but when you wake up, suddenly a lot of negativity keep popping out in your mind. It could be some bad karma ripening. If we do not know, in the past we do not know, we might get mangchang, we might offend people, we might become harassed, do stupid stuff, get into accident or things like that. But now she has this awareness, which I think is beautiful. So she knows that now I know, okay, today I better be careful, some bad karma happening. I need to be careful with my action, speech, and thoughts. Yeah. So this is the beauty of your practice, okay? You all start to understand the underneath of your iceberg, and I'm very, very happy that you guys are making progress. Very, very good. Very well done. So you guys, brothers and sisters, you all also can pay attention when you wake up. What kind of things keep happening? Yeah. Okay, what are the things that people have right? Quite a lot, quite a few share their feedbacks. Okay, so one of the questions was, were you be able to be the observer of your thoughts? Yes, somehow I think what I have done to change if is not good enough. Okay, this one is more very genuine. He said, depends whether I'm physically tired or how intense my emotions are. This practitioner is very genuine answering this question. Yes. If we are very tired, if we have a lot of intense emotions, it is not easy to watch our thoughts. This is really not easy. Yeah. That's why I share about the diaphragmatic abdominal breathing on the last sessions. When you cannot do something that is more refined, at least you have this breathing to anchor on, to get some grounding. So most of the time when I have negative or positive thought, I find it easier to observe, but it's more difficult with natural thoughts. Natural thought is like you're calmer, you have no thoughts, not so much thoughts, which is good. If you have in that state of mind, just prolong it. Just know that your mind is balanced, and just enjoy that state of mind. Yeah. Okay, so for the observer, this is the feedback that I got. Did you identify any thought patterns? That is how you usually think. Many people didn't answer, but there are few that answer. Okay, this one he feedback that I try not to have negative thinking. I will tell myself, think of positive, even though you know it is no good or not right. This is a bit like thought changing. You know you're negative and you try to see a situation in a positive manner, which is choice. Every moment we are given choice. Things happen in our life, we're given a choice whether to think negative or think positive. Yeah. Isn't it a little bit of toxic positivity? Yes, it could be a little bit. I am okay, you are not okay, but nevertheless, it's also good to be more positive than negative. Yeah. But again, as I say, Buddha keep mentioning about middle path, 中道 equanimity. You must always know where you are and strike the balance. This one is also a very genuine practitioner. He say yes, for worries and or anger, it is usually repetitive and go nowhere. Thoughts are sometimes judgmental towards others and myself. This is, yeah, this is very common to most of us. This is very common to most of us. I really appreciate the genuine reply from all the practitioners. But now our training, the first level of training is at least you identify your thoughts. And now that you can identify your thoughts, then you have a choice what you want to do with your thoughts. That's where I talk about thoughts stopping, thoughts changing, or even if you cannot cope, do something else, distractions. Yeah. Okay, this one is my thought seems to be more engaged in the future than the past, and it seems more analytical. Good, at least you know. And for this person, maybe is more a thinking person rather than a heart person. So the persons might not feel so much emotions. It's like a bit of ice, not so watery yet. So you might want to balance the cognitive and the EQ and the IQ, so that the persons can be more more rounded persons. Negative thoughts, good, you pick it up. Again, never judge, even you have negative thoughts. We are just start of our practice. And as I mentioned earlier, as I mentioned before, the initial stage, 90%, if you're not trained, 99% or 98% are all negative thoughts. It is human nature to have more negative. And that's where we need to apply all the Dharma to train ourselves to be slowly washed to become positive. Okay. Okay, this one also very interesting. Where I realized I got a lot of my thoughts have got to do with Dharma. It is normal for me to start considering things from the perspective of Dharma. However, I also recognize that deep down there is this aspect of wanting to escape instead of facing the issues. This made me wonder if I'm going to the Dharma is an attempt to address my issue or an attempt to escape or divert my attentions. Sounds familiar to you all also? Taking Dharma as a cover-up. We don't go deep inside our iceberg to check what is inside our iceberg. But we always at the tip of the iceberg and we use something else to keep on feeding on it. You create a lot of good karmas by doing a lot of Dharma works and listen to a lot of Dharma teachings. But you can do a little bit better to become a practitioner by going into your deeper onto the iceberg to get to know your issues. That's why these 4 trainings, these 4 lessons is really about going deep into ourselves. Yeah, because I decided to give this series of talk also because I see that in a lot of practitioners, they use Dharma as an escape. Instead of practicing Dharma, they use Dharma as an escape. Yeah. I feel I am confused a lot of time. Like I don't know what I meant to be doing just in life in general. I am on holiday now, so that there is that, don't know what I should say. Also, feel I keep craving for something to fill my thoughts, which end up with me scrolling through Instagram, YouTube, which isn't really good. This is restlessness mind. It's good that the person start to identify. It appears this way, okay? It's like I feel confused a lot of time, like he doesn't know what he want to do in life. And because there's this fear and anxiety, the person also want to grab on something outside. Remember the I am not okay? I'm not okay, you are okay. So you always need to go outside to look for something to fulfill, to make you complete. And that is where we always go on searching and searching and searching, be it YouTube, Instagram, and after a while, this become restlessness mind. Yeah. I notice my mind give a lot of commentary on things, a lot of comments in my mind, and I believe there are way more comments I have in my mind that I am not aware of. Yes, we all have this beautiful person behind keep telling us what to do. Always like the back of the mind, there's somebody that keep on telling you what to do. The whole practice is to identify that person and slowly make friends with the person until one day the person disappears. Then your mind will be very genuine. Yeah. Does going deep into us means doing more meditation? At this moment in time, I really don't, as I say, this 4th session is not about meditation. It's about understanding you first, your thinking patterns, your behavior patterns, your emotional patterns, so that after you understand yourself, we can change our habits. Like what Buddha, like, today loving kindness, if our heart all the while has been the ice block, and you try to go to do meditation, it will not happen. It will not happen. So it's to get to know, am I an ice block now? How's my ice block looks like? And how I can melt it into water. Do that first before you go into meditation proper. Yeah. Otherwise, it can very intense, meditation retreat 8 hours a day, anapanasati. It can be very, very intense. Super intense. If like you got so many emotions keep coming out, you don't know what is it, and you keep suppressing. Oh my God. What are feelings that are neither pleasure nor painful? Got example? When you're in nature, when you're playing with kids, what kind of feelings you got? Comfortable. That is, I call it like neither pleasant or painful feelings. You just feel the warmth and the contentment in that. Yeah, I would really like to describe that neutral feelings as something like that. Yeah. Okay. It's already 9:30. Do you still want to hear or we stop here? Maybe next sessions no more talk, but just go through. You all give me more feedbacks. Then I will try to summarize everything, and we'll just do this kind of question and answer sharing. What do you all want? You all want talks or you all want this? It's up to you all for next sessions. Want to hear? Or
Maybe we can write in the chat, maybe like 1 for the reflection, 2 for the talk, like just to have a rough idea.
Okay. Okay, if it's for both, right? What you want to hear? What you want to hear? So I talk about Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta. I talk about loving kindness. What else you want to hear? Okay. Sila got to do with behavior. Yes, I will talk about it. And there were some requests. Some requests. Okay, so there's this pool coming out. Wow, top 100%. Don't want reflection. Okay, it looks like almost half. They still want the talk and also want the reflection. Okay, then we will continue this current format. But I really don't know what to share next session, so you help me to think. So I can just focus and do, I don't need to think and think and think. Sila and Dana, what about karma? Karma and seeking forgiveness. Okay. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is actually linked to emotions, but we didn't really go deep into it today. Karma and forgiveness. Okay. Got you. Yeah. Any more questions? Any last questions? I really appreciate that you all take effort to practice and give me all the feedback. It's very, very valuable. Wow, dependent origination a bit too chim. Oh, gratitude would be nice. Okay. You mentioned about, this question I thought is very interesting. You mentioned about ego, how to reduce ego. Again, we have ego because of our ignorance. We have ego because of our conditions. So please do not blame yourself if you have ego or somebody judge you and say you are very egoistic. Just know that you are being conditioned that way. And what you can do now is really to go deeper into your iceberg to understand yourself, to break it down and change your habit patterns. It could be like you are a person that is more, I am okay, you are not okay. So if you see that in you most of the time, it always happens the same patterns. Once you have the awareness, is the beautiful opportunity for you to change. Yeah. Okay, I like the topic of ego too. Actually, what we talk about the last 3 sessions, including today, is about ego. Really, it's about ego. Yes, it's the ingredients of our ego. We always term ego, but not knowing what is it inside, and we blame ourselves for having a big ego. But this whole session is about really breaking it down into small pieces. One step at a time, change little bit. Yeah. Okay. So please don't beat yourself out if you know that you have certain behavior patterns. It's really not because of we want it that way, because we don't know and because we're being conditioned. Yes. And that's why today I want to share about loving kindness and self-help, self-care, so that at least we know, even though I am an iceberg, I'm an ice right now, I have this, the elements of a ice is water. We can change into water, provided we give ourselves opportunity, we give ourselves time, and we choose to change. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, don't take up too long of your time. Maybe we go to sharing of merits.
Willing to lead us in the dedication of merits?
Sorry, I thought the last question, may I answer just one more question?
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Because I thought it was very genuine. Like, I find myself absorbed into Dharma serial. Feel weak to cut off that clinging. Wait, where's my question? Okay, it's a direct question to me. This person asks, I find myself absorbed into Dharma series. Feel weak to cut off that clinging. How to gain control of myself? I don't know. It sounds to me that you might be a person that I am not okay and the Dharma is okay. Remember our sharing, we talk about I'm not okay, you are okay. So normally for people in that category, they tend to be more possessive and clinging. It becomes a habit. We see we have a little bit lower self-esteem and we see others are better than us. In this case, is we see Dharma better than us and we cling on very tightly on that. You can let go of your family, let go of this, keep on pursuing Dharma. But that's not the way how Dharma should be practiced. How Dharma should practice is, how to answer? The temple is inside us. The temple is inside us, not outside. And in order to find our own temple, who we really are, we have to go inside, not keep on looking Dharma from outside. Outside are just source of information for you to know how to go inside. That's all. Yeah, I hope I answer your questions. Okay. Yep, that's it. Thank you. May you all attain to the Nibbana. At least be a 3M3 in this lifetime, okay? Try hard. If you all were to really go deep in your iceberg, the chances are much higher. So please try harder, okay? Yeah.